You're listening to The Pivot Point, where we unpack the defining moments that shift careers and lives. I'm your host, Laura Dionisio, founder of Lead Intact, and my mission is to spotlight the raw, real stories behind career pivots. The fears, the hopes, the messy middles, and the bold decisions that follow. If you're feeling stuck or quietly wondering what's next, I hope these stories help you see yourself a little more clearly and inspire you to start moving toward your own dream life. Let's begin. Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Pivot Point. I have a confession. This is a guest episode, but I gotta tell you, this episode, it was never supposed to be an episode, so please pardon the audio. It's not the usual quality that I have in these episodes, as I am not mic'd up. Here's what happened. Leslie and I jumped on what was supposed to be a casual coffee chat. I didn't hit record, but thankfully, she automatically does on her end. Thanks, Leslie. And about halfway through, we were like, wait, this is too good not to share. We talk about everything, pivoting out of burnout, surrendering to your feminine energy, debt, business identity, AI, my personal latest obsession, and why healing has to happen if you actually want your life to feel better, not just look better. Fun fact, the way Leslie and I met was one of those you can't make this shit up moments. I was at a live event hosted by Elise Archer, and that morning, while I was getting ready, I had been listening to an episode of Elise's She Sells Radio podcast. I show up to the event, sit down next to this woman, we introduce ourselves, and she says her name is Leslie Thornton. And I'm like, why does that sound so familiar? And then I realized I literally was just listening to her that morning. I was like, hold up. Are you the Leslie Thornton? Crazy. And of course, we had to connect after that. Since we didn't plan this chat as a podcast, we never did a formal intro, which meant I may or may not have stalked her website a little bit afterward to get the scoop on the amazing Leslie Thornton. So here's her unofficial bio by me. Leslie Thornton is a former ICU nurse turned subconscious reprogramming and NLP master coach who helps women finally get free from food obsession, control, and the mental chaos that keeps them stuck. These days, she's certifying other coaches, running a successful business, and doing it all in a way that's deeply aligned with who she is. What I love most about her work is that she blends neuroscience, mindset, and real-life behavior change in a way that actually sticks. No short-term hacks, no rigid plans, just real transformation. She's also the host of the Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss podcast, where she talks about food freedom, identity shifts, and how to rewire your beliefs from the inside out. And beyond all that, she's been through her own pivots. She gets it. She's lived it. And she brings so much honesty, wisdom, and heart to this conversation. I cannot wait for you to hear her story. So if you've been in that weird limbo space where something feels off, but you're not quite sure what's next, this one's for you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy being a part of this authentic and raw catch-up session between friends.
You want your note taker here? I've been all into AI lately.
Cool.
So now I'm recording calls and then asking it to, I don't know, give me a summary or, you know what I think? I've done a few coffee chats and I didn't even ask ChatGPT to do this, but it pulled in, there are some great nuggets from your conversation alone. Here are some content ideas. So I'm like, oh shit.
Maybe I should do that.
Because yeah, there's so many applications that I didn't even think of.
I appreciate that, Laura. Thank you. That makes so much sense. I'm so into AI. It's just catapulting us so much faster into our future as beings.
It's like giving me confidence too. So I've been toying with the idea of starting my own podcast. Have we talked about this?
We might have. I just always saw you as someone who should have your own platform. That's for sure. So maybe that's,
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really have. But having said that, even though I'm not camera shy, I think that's obvious. obviously.
I love everything. Like anytime I've clicked on your story, I'm like, girl, let's see what this girl's got to say. Laura's here. So exciting.
I could tell I was procrastinating. I was doing what I like to call productive procrastination. Are you
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Where you like,
Yeah.
I was doing all the research and it was good up until I realized I was using it to not take action.
Cool. Good for you.
So finally, I asked ChatGPT, I'm thinking of starting a podcast, blah, blah, blah. And then it gave me the steps, like some of the things that I was already thinking of, like what's my episode length? And it's simple now, but I was just wrapped up in my head. So now I was like, what's one thing that I can do? And it was like, just hit record. I'm like, damn it, chat is calling me out.
I really get that. My confidence has definitely raised since I started using it because it takes all of the stuff. It's hard to see when you're the one producing the stuff. It's
Yeah.
just the effect. It's
It's like
so
an app on my
powerful.
phone now.
Oh, yeah.
The voice thing, like game changer. I didn't know. Did you know?
Oh, I don't use this. Tell you can use their voice for it.
Voice to text.
Kind of like fucking burst. Okay. Excited for you and congratulations. You're really stepping in and taking action and great. So what's your goals?
So right now I'm focusing on the podcast. You know what's funny is at the end of last year, I was so like go. I had run my first workshop. I was sending consistent newsletter. I was just on it. And then a switch turned off and I was like, no.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it this way at the time. But when I saw Elise, because I went to the Sedona VIP dinner.
Oh, cool. I went to one of her things in Sedona and that place that we went to was insane. First of all, Sedona.
So Elise says hi to me and
Yes.
says, I heard you've been in your feminine. I'm like, oh shit. I didn't connect the
That's
dots.
cool the way she said that. That's nice.
Yeah. I felt like I just wanted to exist and just be in my own space. I stopped reading educational books. I stopped listening to podcasts. I just stopped. I
Yeah.
stopped even hanging out with friends for a while. At first, I was like, am I
Mhm.
okay? But when I
Mhm.
tuned in, I'm like, no, I just felt that peace. It's just so
Wow.
unfamiliar as being, it's like, you're nodding your head. You probably relate. As being someone who's so go my whole life, I didn't understand this feeling of just wanting to exist. So that's why I thought something was wrong.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So that was similar in so many different ways I talk about now. But I really think that in order to have full integration, it's like we go all the way in the masculine, you learn so many lessons in the masculine, but then like you get so tired and then you go all it, but you have to experience all the way in the feminine, which to me was terrifying when I did that. And that happened to me when I was in Elise's program as well. Like I just took my hands off the fucking wheel. I was disgusted by sales. I was like,
Yes.
I ain't trying to get anybody to do shit. Nope, I will not. And then my debt went way up. My money went way down. And it was terrifying. It was one of the hardest times. I certify people in neurolinguistic programming. And one of the things I teach on values levels is there's this system of values that values level 5 is the entrepreneur, basically masculine. Values level 6 is hippy dippy. You could look at it as the feminine. And it's notorious, like they don't have any money, but they hang out with people that are values level 5, so survive. Anyway, but we all need to evolve through all of these values levels. So I was like, oh my God, I'm in values level 6 right now. And every values level 5 entrepreneur hates when they learn about this. I don't want to have to go to 6. I don't want to have to go to 6. But Elise helped me fully surrender to the 6 because me resisting going into the feminine. I was like, I got to hit this target. Like, I got to scale. And Elise mirrored back to me. She was like, every time I talk to you, it seems like you want more spaciousness and more relaxation. And I know I've been on this journey long enough that I know that I need to surrender to that. So I went through that, but then slowly it started to come back. But it fully integrated into this is me instead of I'm trying to follow somebody else's playbook in the masculine. It was like, no, I'm choosing to do business. I'm choosing to sell for the best interest of these people I'm talking to for these things that actually helps them move and take action and change their life. So it was like the embodiment that got to come.
Yeah.
Debt went away, doing better, better financially than I had before.
Okay. I want to hear more about this because this is recent for me, right? Like I was in this bubble. I actually fully surrendered because I'm like, this actually feels nice. I was the most unbothered. That's the only word I get, like unbothered.
Great.
Nothing to bother
Good
me.
for you.
Unbothered, like friends.
Yeah, I fought it like the freaking play. I fought it. Good for
Oh.
you.
And I fight. I was like, this is a gift.
Oh, I
feel
wish
so good.
I had the awareness that it was and enjoyed it as much as I could, but my insides were tough grappling with the surrender.
I can understand why. I did have Q1 2025 goal and I meant it. I wasn't.
Did you leave your corporate job or I can't
Not
remember?
yet.
Okay, so
Because,
that probably helped you fully surrender because you still had that.
oh, what's crazy?
Uh-huh.
Speaking
Yeah.
of the debt,
Yeah.
I had the highest debt also,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I was so unbothered. I don't know what happened last. This is why I say it's a gift. Like a switch turned off. I was going through this intuition class at the end of the year, and she'd done like a one-on-one, like post-class checkup. And she tuned into my energy and she was like, it's almost like you're relaxing out of exhaustion, which is true
Whoa.
because I was just so pushed that it was almost like everything in me was just like, let me just chill.
You seem more radiant. Your hair is voluptuous. Like I
Thank
feel
you.
like I could tell that whatever you're
Yeah,
doing, it's good.
it's a gift. No, so to your point, that's why I want to hear more because I'm just now getting out of it. I did have to talk to myself a little bit because I don't normally have credit card debt
Right.
because I had decided to do the VIP class and this and that. I had credit card debt and I was just like, I don't know. But then I reminded myself there's this analogy of imagine a woman who won the lottery and she's depositing like a $1 million check. And she goes to the bank and it's going to take a week to clear because of the amount. Well, she leaves the bank. She's really happy. She's like, yeah, I got $1 million. But the money hasn't hit her bank yet, but she
Right.
knows it's coming. Be like her. To your point, is level, what is it, level 6? You said
Level 6 is always, yes, comes with the not having money. So the guy who taught me NLP was saying how when he went through values level 6, like he was doing deep meditation and all this amazing, like feminine type work.
Uh-huh.
And he said, one day I got a phone call that was from the mortgage company and they were like, you've defaulted on your mortgage payments 5 times. And he was like, what? He was like, but I'm doing such great work. He was confused, but it was because he was in the 6.
But why?
I know. It's just part of the values level. You're letting go, right? And you could look at it also as going into the feminine. Like, I think it's part of the necessary integration, right? So, my story was the food addiction thing. So, I was like perfectly with diet, right? And exercise and whatever, mastered how to get my weight to the perfect body. So, it was through following all the masculine, right? It worked, the blueprint. But then, same thing, I like hit this thing with it where now I was like, F that. And I went all the way feminine with my eating and my food and I gained all this weight, but I was like a no to any rules or whatever. And that was terrifying to see the weight go up the same way the debt went up. But then slowly it integrated. And now who I am is just someone who has a healthy balance of both. So it happened with money right after my food thing. I was like, I know money's my next frontier. And that's when I hired Elise and went all the way. So it was like my money was here because I followed the perfect blueprint in the masculine. And then I hired Elise and it was all the way over here. But I was like, I know I'm asking for this integration. So
I needed to hear that because I'm still like, I'm not in credit card debt anymore, but I'm still pretty down here compared to same thing. Like
right,
I had a
right,
pretty nice savings, but then I kept investing in myself.
good.
But it feels good. So yeah, I'm coming out of it now, but I already know I'm not going to go back to who I was. I can tell. It's to your point. Like I can tell I'm integrated. Like some things just don't bother me anymore. One of the things that don't bother me anymore is I'm not forcing myself to do like the 3 outreach per day, the revenue generating action a day. Like it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Feels right is like me doing the AI stuff, doing the podcast because I'm like
Yeah.
excited and I'm like
Yeah.
learning to trust. This is my biggest thing right now. Learning to trust that, yes, I still have this goal to leave. It's not even, the goal isn't even to leave corporate. It's really to expand my business. Like leaving corporate is just going to be a step, but it's like letting
Cool.
go of how I think I need to do it and just following what makes me excited.
I think that's the key. I think you can trust that 100%. That's what every spiritual teaching talks about. Just follow your passion, follow your bliss, follow the energy of your highest excitement, and you can never go wrong. And I love that you can tell you have that relationship with yourself where if you felt differently, right, you're checking in. It's not like you're being like unconscious and dumb. You're just like, no,
Yeah.
that's not my truth right now. So just keep trusting that. It's amazing.
I'm like baby stepping. It's almost like I just got a new wardrobe and things don't quite feel the same, but they look good, but I'm not quite settled. What was that like for you getting out of it?
So so with the money transformation, values level 6, getting out of that. Oh God. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm happy to. It was a slow feeling of my energy coming back. of a little bit more of that like masculine edge that had a bit of desire for that structure. The other thing that happened was I actually missed working with people. I was still always working with people, but way down client base. It wasn't the regularity. I remember when I was working with Elise, I was like, the thought of me sitting at this effing computer the way that I used to is just like sickening to me. But I was terrified that would never come back because I was like, but what am I going to do? But I also have a really good relationship with my intuition. But that was the first time I ever had that. It was scary. But slowly I felt like I'm wanting to work. Like before it was I was working because I had to or else scarcity, lack.
Yeah.
And then when I dropped that, then it was like, okay, I don't have to. But actually, I'm finding that me making money consistently is part of my self satisfaction, is part of my happiness. It's part of what I want. The service is what I want. So it was like I was choosing it for the first time from a I want it instead of have to.
Oh, yeah. Without the desperate like clause, because even for me, my corporate job, I wanted to leave it so that I could expand my business, but the want was still clingy. It still felt out of desperation.
There you go. And that's what I
Yeah.
find with the job shifts of like when we hate, when we're going away from, right? Like I'm burnt out from this job, corporate, whatever. Initially, it's that fear that gets us. But actually, what we usually need in that transition is like a lot of healing from whatever traumatic
Oh,
shit is
yeah.
coming up. But people are, again, they're so scared about not having that same paycheck, but actually giving ourselves the permission to heal from. Because a lot of times it's traumatic. Me leaving nursing in the ICU, that was traumatic for me. I feel like I had some PTSD. I could hear the helicopter because I lived so
Crazy.
close to the hospital. And every night I'd hear it and be like, oh my God, it's going to be my patient. And they're literally going to be a train wreck. And that was just not the right fit for me. So it was like I had a lot of healing to
Yeah.
do from that. But again, that PTSD was like, I got to build a business, but it's pump the brakes.
Yeah.
You got to heal. But I
Yeah.
still did both at the same time. And I built the business off a little bit of that scarcity fear energy for a very long time. And then realizing that's not sustainable. Like sustainability is when you're doing something out of empowered choice, not fear, scarcity, and lack. Right. So then I watched my whole business start to tank, AKA employees falling away. I had no energy. I just wasn't showing up at the same way that I did as a leader anymore. But I was like, I can't do anything right now. But I had interviewed on my podcast other leaders who are 7-figure business owners. And they talked about as they were healing some of these inner things from like childhood and blah, 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 like their businesses fell down. But then what reemerged was like A+ players, mission driven people. So I just,
Yeah.
that's the experience I've been having is it's built on solid, amazing, positive ground. And I've never been happier in work in my life than I have been post that time.
I love that. You know what's crazy is I was just talking to a friend about something similar. And then now I'm wondering if it's like you can't do anything about it. You have to go through this period or if there's a way to fast track. So for me, before this
Mhm,
job, I was in another job that I was burnt out, not getting
mhm,
paid what
mhm.
I should be, that kind of thing. And then at first it was the anger that really got me out of that, that got me to ask for a raise and then use that raise to leverage into a higher offer. And then I got this job where I knew I was going to get paid more to work less with less
Mhm,
responsibilities. And
mhm.
like I thought I was going to be like, great, I'm going to have time to build the business and because I'm going to have all this extra time. But I actually, looking back, went through depression. I see it now. And it's
Yeah.
because I didn't realize I needed to heal. First of all, I didn't even recognize I was depressed. Then once I did, I was like, oh shit. I
Yep.
realized it's because I had to heal like the identity that led me to the burnout because I
Wow.
felt guilty
Mhm.
for not working as hard, but I didn't want to work as hard. There was like a tug of war and me. And I'm wondering because it sounds like you've interviewed a lot of people, maybe not exact situation as what I just described, but similar feelings of leaving this thing and then healing, but then this goes to
Mhm.
shit. Is that always going to be, you think, the phase of growth? Or I wonder if
Yes.
it's a
So
way.
there's a thing that I teach in NLP. It's called the values change indicator. And it basically looks like what's the symbol in math that goes like
Sine
this
wave?
and then this?
A step curve or a sine wave?
It's hard angles though. So it starts out straight, it
Yeah.
dips down into a V, but then it goes higher up and then over onto flat ground again. So whenever we're shifting values, So it's like everything's all good. You started out with your last job and you're like, shit, I love it. I found it. This is my shit my whole life. And then we see something that's better. We get present to our consciousness expands to, oh, but I could have that. So then we start having that inner tug of war because it's, oh, but no, things were easier back when let me just try to make it good here. Like I had it right. So I work with diet mentality people. So this is when it's, oh, but the diet was working so well. Like I know if I just eat like this, it'll be good. But there's this part of them that wants more freedom and more life set, like they want to experience things, but they're battling themselves.
Yes.
Okay. So this is where people find coaches. And this is why we talk about the pain points, because this is what we know that they're grappling with. So if they get that, then so it gets harder. It has to on when you make the decision to go to here, the next level, we hire the coach. It has to get harder because you have to go through the identity shifts, the emotions, all the pain before it gets easier. But then you end up getting on that higher level and then you're back to it. But you're right. We always are shifting. So yes, we can expect that. So that's where that's where the education is so powerful to be like, I know that this hard thinking or this stress is not anything about me. Like I can see I'm shifting value. So let me just find out what that is and then hire the coach to help me transform faster.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense because I was thinking about it because that's part of the reason I wanted to start the podcast is to highlight exactly like what we're talking about and to say, A, you're not crazy for being like, I got the thing that I want, but I still feel like shit. And B, there's a way out. And C, it doesn't have to be as long. You just find the support or the coach or the group, something.
I do high ticket coaching and all my clients, for the most part, 85% come from the podcast. And it's because every single episode just hit all those things from the authentic space of I hate myself and why do I look like this? And I hate my body and I know better. And why can't I stay consistent? Like I just was going into my pain because that was my experience. And me being like, but you don't have to feel that way, but you need to ask for help. You have to make a change. You have to this.
Okay.
And then telling them to take action. I was like, don't listen to this podcast just to numb out and feel better because you ain't changing. You're not going to get where you need to go just by listening. So you better book a call.
I like that. I'm so glad that we had this talk at this time.
Yay.
Thank you so much because I feel like I haven't asked like what you're up to. I've just been talking about me.
Let's see. What am I up to? Happiest I've ever been in business. I'm working all the time, but I'm so into it to the point where I'm like, all right, let me bring back my gym days because I feel like I'm working, enjoying the weather getting nicer. Got a great boyfriend. He's great. He helps me all the time and we have lots of adventures and all that. I've been speaking in dentistry the last 2 years. Allison introduced me. And so half of my clients are now in dentistry or dentists. And then, have my people who want to receive the work doing hypnosis for permanent weight loss, helping them get free from the diet mentality. And then I have people who want to get trained in the work. So certifying people in NLP, hypnosis, timeline therapy, NLP coaching.
I didn't know that you did that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to hit you up at some point.
I think you would love it. And I think it would give you an extra level of integrity when you're ready for speaking about coaching and help guide your clients to be like, hey, this is normal. Or anyway, I think you'd love it.
Okay. I definitely would love for you to be on my podcast. Or
I would love it. Let's just make this conversation into a podcast. We'll just post it up because I think the authenticity of the conversation is going to really get people in. They're going to be like, oh my God, we're like really in a meeting. Yeah. And I think that's going to be even more powerful than if we planned it.
I think so.
Thanks to the audience listening right now. Thank you for listening.
Now. Thank you.
We've had a great time. So how can everybody find you?
My website is www.leadintact.com. And I also am sadly addicted to social media, but you can DM me that way.
That's great.
My handle is @leadintact. That's LEDINTACT. So that's the best way to get a hold of me.
I love that. And then what's your professional background so people can really relate to your specific background and know that you're the right person for them to contact?
I am a purposeful career transition coach, and I help those who have been in their careers for a long ass time and are looking for something new to transition into something more fulfilling. And it doesn't have to be like a burn the ships kind of thing. It could just be a mindset shift. It could be a different role in the company. Or if you want to burn the ship down, move across the country, I'm here for it. I have done
Oh my God.
Yes.
I love that. That's so inspiring. Okay. And what is the kind of company or role that you have in your corporate job or
So
have?
in my corporate job, I work as an engineer working on electric vehicles. So that's why like my
Whoa.
coaching combines a lot of the process, like the masculine, if you will. But then I've been trained by the amazing Michelle Chalfant and the adult share coaching
Ooh,
certification. So like I
cool.
have that.
She and I had a great conversation. I didn't know that you came from her, but that's great. That's cool. Love your background. And what were you doing in electric cars specifically?
I work in the propulsion space. So this is how it ties back into like me being a coach. I always like to work in systems. So I'm like the person that talks to the person who is in charge of designing the battery, the person in charge of designing like the low voltage system, and like how do they communicate with each other. So I bring that background in too with my coaching because I see us as having like multiple parts, let's say. So it's like, what kind of system works for you? How do your parts want to talk with you? That kind of thing.
Oh my God, that's the best. There's going to be certain people that just really relate to the engineering mind like that and operate in that system way, but then still need that. That's what I love
Yeah,
about coaching is like we need everybody's unique background and ways that their minds works because you need to find the right fit with somebody who's going to help you get there based on.
exactly.
So I appreciate what you're doing. If your audience wants to know who I am, so we already
Yeah.
talked about nursing. Okay, so did that for a bunch of years, was always into health. First diet was at 8 years old, was into all that, was a personal trainer and did all the things. And then got to the end of my rope with dieting and basically had been the skinniest I ever went and then went all the way to the other side, felt all the pain of gaining all the weight back after whatever is a very tumultuous time and realized that I was the reason that I always was up and down with my weight and obsessed about it all the time was because I was not actually looking at the beliefs, the negative shit in the background, all of that kind of stuff that was actually driving me to the cabinet in the first place. And then I got right. So I have developed my HEAL method after all my experience with nursing, personal training, NLP, coaching, hypnosis, to effectively help my clients do what I did to now have peace and freedom around food, body, and weight, stop the mental madness around that area of life, which leads to success, happiness, right? And then training people to find their life purpose. And NLP is the next step for a lot of people after they get to that spot. So that's what I do. Website, hpwl.co. And podcast is called Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss.
I love it. I have this one question that I ask all my guests. Are you
Yeah,
for it?
I am. Tell me.
If you were a type of drink to be ordered at a cafe, what would you be and why?
Oh, I love this. I love this. I love this. Okay. There was one cafe I went to. It was this like specialty new cafe. I think it was like Venezuelan or it was Mexican. I can't remember. They had this specialty coffee that had a little bit of bitterness, but then it had a like this special, I don't want to say caramel because it sounds too sweet, but it was like this perfection of the foam. And then it had this like caramel salts on the top. So it's like this bitter coffee, like multi-dimensional care, right? And I think it's made with espresso. And I can't stop, anyway, that was like the best thing I ever had. So I feel like that would be me. So why? Multi-dimensional. I'm a little fun. I can also be straight. I like to help people get the job done. That espresso gets the job done.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, let's have some fun and keep it
Sweet.
a little sweet,
Uh-huh.
happy, have a right. And it's
Mhm.
the full shebang.
I love it.
Thank you. I like that question. I wasn't prepared, but it's so accurate. So thank you for making me have fun.
That's what makes it fun because truthfully, my intention with the podcast is to be more of this format, actually the coffee chat format. There's a
Cool.
theme here.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much.
What's your coffee type?
You know what? When I came up with the question, I thought about it. It's gonna sound so boring, but it's accurate. So mine would just be like a cup of black coffee, like
Great.
straight to the
Oh,
point.
I love it. That
Black.
makes sense.
Just you look at all the fancy drinks and you go to the black coffee anyway, because you know that's like reliable. That's what you want.
That is the best. I have a lot of respect for that. I love a good glass or cup of black coffee, so I
Mhm.
get it. But it's perfect for your brand. So thank you for
It
being
is.
black coffee and as exquisite as that straight to the pointness can be. That's great. Awesome. Laura, thank you so much for this conversation.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you, Leslie. We definitely have
Yeah.
to do this again.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
See ya.
Wow, that was one of those conversations I didn't know I needed until I was in it. Huge thanks to Leslie for not only showing up with so much honesty and depth, but also for automatically recording our call so you could hear it too. If something in this episode hit home for you, don't just let it sit, do something with it. Share it with a friend who might be in the same place. DM me and tell me what landed. Or head to www.leadintact.com to grab your free heart-aligned career transition starter or book a free 20-minute call with me. You don't have to navigate the messy middle of a pivot alone. I've got you. And if you're like, forget you, Laura, I want more Leslie, you can check her out at hpwl.co. I will put that in the show notes. And tune into her podcast, Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss. All right, friend, that's it for today's drop. I'll catch you next time on The Pivot Point with Laura Dionisio. Proceed as if success is inevitable, because it is.